Mary Celeste. The merchant brigantine Mary Celeste left New York for Italy in November 1872. It was discovered drifting off the coast of the Azores by another vessel, the De Gratia, on December 5th. It was strangely entire but human-free. 7 crew members, along with Captain Benjamin Briggs, his wife, and their 2-year-old daughter, had inexplicably disappeared. There were no indications of theft or violence. Personal possessions and the cargo were unharmed, and despite the presence of water in the hold, the ship did not appear to be in immediate danger of sinking. The lifeboat was gone, the logbook hadn't been updated in 10 days, and the sails were only partially set. There are several conjectures, ranging from foul play and piracy to unusual weather phenomena like waterspouts or an explosive reaction caused by alcohol vapors in the cargo hold. The most likely explanation is that Briggs misjudged the threat, pumps failing, water rising, and the crew hastily left the ship in terror. What drove them off an otherwise seaworthy vessel is still one of the most puzzling mysteries in nautical history. SS Baychimo. Under the ownership of the Hudson's Bay Company, the SS Baychimo navigated the dangerous Arctic waters for 10 years. When it got stuck in pack ice in Alaska in 1931, the majority of the crew had to be evacuated by air. The ship had slipped its icy moorings and drifted away when the skeletal group who had stayed behind, protected from a fierce blizzard, came out a few days later. Hunting teams discovered her adrift and collected goods before abandoning her once more, despite their initial assumption that she had sunk. Sightings of the Baychimo, floating ghost-like over ice and fog, continued for the next 38 years. Her destiny remained mysterious after several attempts at salvaging. Although there are still occasional unconfirmed sightings, the last confirmed sighting was in 1969. It's unclear if she plummeted into the icy depths or still wanders the Arctic. The Flying Dutchman. In contrast to the others, the Flying Dutchman is purely legendary. This imaginary ship, which was first mentioned in literature from the late 1700s, is destined to sail forever and never stop at a port. It is thought that its emergence portends disaster at sea. The legend was strengthened by notable sightings, such as the one made in 1881 near Australia by the future King George V and his brother. The Flying Dutchman has survived in maritime mythology, literature, opera, thanks to Wagner, and even Hollywood, most notably in the Pirates of the Caribbean movie as Davy Jones's spectral flagship, MV Joyita. With 25 people on board, the MV Joyita sailed from Samoa to Tokelau in October 1955, but it never made there. She was found more than 600 miles off track a few weeks later, partially underwater, but still afloat. 4 tons of cargo and navigational aids were gone, along with everyone on board. The radio was tuned to the emergency frequency, but no SOS had ever been sent out. There were no theories put out by investigators, including mutiny, piracy, mechanical failure, or even Soviet abduction, that fit the facts. There were no survivors, no hints, and no definitive explanations. One of the most persistent maritime mysteries in the Pacific is the disappearance of the Joyita. Carroll A. In early 1921, this magnificent 5-masted schooner made an appearance off the coast of North Carolina, close to Diamond Shoals, looking doomed. The ship was undamaged when it was boarded a few days later, but the 12 crew members were missing. Logs indicated that anchors had been lost earlier and that the ship had been missteered, which raised the possibility of a collision, mutiny, or involvement from criminal syndicates. Later, an enigmatic note in a bottle that claimed hijackers had taken the ship washed up on the coast but was quickly written off as a fake. The fate of the Deering and her crew is still unknown, and the Coast Guard eventually burned the wreck to remove navigational hazards. She is even allegedly connected to Bermuda Triangle legend. SS Ourang Medan. The tale of the Ourang Medan might just be urban legend. It is said that in the 1940s, a Dutch freighter off of Indonesia sent a terrifying distress call stating that the crew was either dead or dying. Rescuers discovered that everyone on board was dead, their faces frozen in fear, and had no obvious wounds. Before a thorough examination could be conducted, the ship exploded, caught fire, and sank shortly after. Skeptics point out that there are no official records of such a vessel. Nevertheless, the story endures as one of the most eerie ghost ship myths ever reported. Jian Seng, an unmarked tanker, later known as the Jian Seng, was found floating off the coast of Australia in 2006 without any crew members on board. The ship had not been reported lost and had no name, flags, or identifying information. Authorities assumed that there had been unlawful activities. Ultimately, the The damaged tanker was dragged out and buried at sea, but it remains a mystery in modern maritime history how it drifted so far without being tracked and who, or what, the crew was on board.